those of you who don't know me, my name is Mark Peterson. I'm a retired deputy with the Burnett County Sheriff's Department. My career in law enforcement allowed me to work for 7 different agencies in 2 different states, where I served as a correctional officer, a police officer, a tribal officer, and as a sheriff's deputy. During my years of service in those agencies, you meet a lot of coworkers from dispatch, EMS, fire, corrections, probation, and fellow law enforcement. A lot of those coworkers have different characteristics, personalities, and opinions. Not to mention the characteristics, personalities, and opinions of the community whom we interact with daily and serve. It can be a struggle and oftentimes very frustrating. I was fortunate enough to have the gift of gab. I can relate and communicate with almost anyone. Whether I agree with their point of view or not, I learned early in my career there is a difference in understanding with someone and agreeing with someone. I also have been known to tell a few stories of my own to ease the tension or relax the person or persons. I also found carrying a pack of cigarettes while on duty can be the difference in getting your uniform dirty or torn in a physical altercation or getting compliance during an arrest. We as law enforcement officers go through hours of training on how to handle most situations with physical and verbal tactics to remedy a critical situation to the best of our abilities. Unfortunately, on July 2nd, 2022, my gift of gab and training was put to the test, and the worst phrase to ever hear over the radio, shots fired, were spoken. Many coworkers and the community were affected that day, and for them I cannot speak. But for me, it changed my life forever. This is my story. No one ever knows how a traumatic event will affect you, and as a law enforcement officer, you encounter a lot of them. Most of them affect you in some sort of way, but that's part of the job. It's why we do this profession. It's why others cannot. It's why we run towards danger when others run away. It's why we put our lives on the line and unfortunately have officer down ceremonies like this. We take the drama and we eat it up, we push it down, and we only talk about it with fellow coworkers. On July 2nd, my trauma could not push down any longer. My body refused to accept it, but my mind was trying to tell me something. Following the required blood draw that day, I returned home to sit in the dark and dwell on the event and my current situation. My stress level was high, and my mind was running with the what now and the what ifs. I knew it wouldn't take long for the incident to be on all media, including social media. I need to call my loved ones and inform them of the incident. And calling your mother, who raised you and taught you right from wrong, and explain to her what had just happened. To the toughest part of all, calling your daughter to explain what had happened and worrying that my little girl would now get bullied in school for what her dad had done. My stress level was high, and my mind was still running with the what ifs and the what now. I was an emotional mess, from anger to remorse, back to anger. What did I do wrong? Did I say the right things? What could I have done better? And did I do the right thing? Then guilt set in. What if I go to jail? What if I get sued? What if I lose my job and my house? What about the department? Did I leave a black eye for the Burnett County Sheriff's Department? Will they be investigated by the DOJ? Will protesters be showing up at the doorsteps with news cameras? And did I let everyone down? Your friends and family reach out to you for much needed support, but you still worry and stress about your life, and sleep is minimal. The next few weeks come and go. You're still stressed about the situation. You cannot sleep with your mind not being right, and the nightmares that you never had since you were 5 years old are scaring you and making you not want to sleep. The boogeyman is not real. He is not coming through that door. Or is he? The investigation concludes. The district attorney clears you. Good shoot, good shoot. You did the right thing. Some folks call you a hero. Okay, good news, right? You tell your sheriff you're okay and you're ready to go to work. You think if you get back to work and this will all go away. Yep, back with the boys. We'll put it back to normal. Finally get some sleep, no more nightmares, no more stress. You just need to get back out there, take calls, and put this incident behind you. Move on. But things do not go back to normal. The nightmares do not go away. Sleep deprived continues. And you do not want anyone to know. Because you can beat this on your own. Push it down. Man up. It's just another trauma. It's just taking longer than the others. It will just take time. Plus, you're back to work. Keep your mind off things. But every dispatch call, every click of the mic, your mind races. How will I react? Can I handle the situation? Will I freeze up? Is my mind strong enough to handle the stress? Where has my confidence gone? I'm Superman. I've been doing this job for years. What am I worried about? The days turn into weeks. And you never get back to normal. Back to work is not the normal you were hoping for. The stress may have increased, and you are now going days without any sleep. Sometimes as much as a week. You're feeling exhausted and alone and in fear of not being able to handle your stress and control of your own mind. But you don't tell anyone, because that is not what cops do. And that's definitely not what I do. Finally, your body's had enough. You decide, since you are in denial and won't help yourself with your mental health, it shuts down. Next thing you know, you're in a helicopter ride to a medical facility. The medical professionals at the medical facility determine you have severe nerve damage in your brain from trauma due to work-related stress. Now things just got real. The nerve damage has caused limitations that affect you physically. You have visual, hearing, speech, and balance limitations, resulting in some surgery. You need the assistance of others to help walk, and you're not able to drive a motor vehicle. You thought you had stress before. Now you're going to rehab for speech and learn how to walk again. You have several doctor's appointments weekly, resulting in needing to find reliable transportation to and from these appointments. The physicians are prescribing medications to assist in your recovery, but the medications only seem to make things worse. You're not sleeping. And now your physicians have referred you to see a psychiatrist. Why is this happening? Why am I being punished? I thought I did the right thing. Guess I'm not Superman anymore. You find yourself alone, confined to your residence, sitting in a chair, trying to watch TV and to get your mind off the stress of not knowing if you'll ever get back to work. Let alone will you ever be normal again, physically or mentally. You again begin to think about the future. Will you lose your home? Do you have to file bankruptcy now? Will you get sued? And now you have the financial stress. You are spending money on medications and travel expenses to follow the care plan they set up. But at what cost to you? You meet with a psychiatrist. You're skeptical at first. You think to yourself, what does he know about me? He's not in law enforcement, and I'm not crazy. I don't need a shrink, and I can handle this on my own. But if you want to get back to work, you better jump through the hoops. After a few minutes of listening to this doctor, you find yourself nodding your head. You ask yourself, how's he know I'm not sleeping? And how's he know about the nightmares? And that I can't control my mind? He informs you that you have a condition called post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Wait a minute. I thought PTSD was for military veterans. He explains to you that as an officer, you can have several traumatic events, and they build up over the years and will affect your mental health. He informs you that PTSD is very common with law enforcement officers, and he has treated several clients who work law enforcement as well as military personnel. The doctor starts talking to you, and he asks you about some of the traumatic events that you encountered while being in law enforcement over the years, which probably 70% of this room has. You inform him of the times, like carrying a 13-year-old unconscious female to an ambulance with a needle hanging out of her arm from a drug overdose. Or knocking on a door at 2 a.m. to inform a parent their child is deceased and hold the parent as they fall into your arms, yelling and crying. Performing CPR on a burn victim while their family is screaming at you to save them. Investigating a traffic crash with deceased minors similar to your own child's age. Suicides involving a firearm where you just want to ask yourself, why? Recovering 5 unknown decapitated males from the desert with their hands and feet tied. Yes, monsters are real. Being in a physical life or death altercation with 2 gang members who are not going back to prison. Skating across a blood-soaked kitchen floor, trying to give first aid to a robbery victim who had his throat slashed. And shooting another human being who points a loaded firearm at you. The list goes on and on. The doctor informs you that all the trauma builds up through your career, and the latest incident on July 2nd was the straw that broke the camel's back. Your mind decided enough was enough and shut down. The doctor informs me I have a severe case of PTSD and recommends regular therapy treatments and, of course, medication to help me sleep. Due to the new information and physical condition you are in, you speak to an attorney and you file a workman's compensation claim due to the recommendation of your healthcare professionals. Workman's comp provider denies your claim, saying it wasn't work-related, and denies you having PTSD over an alleged incident. Oh, great. More stress. How's that sleeping going? But I thought I did the right thing. You continue going to the medical appointments and follow the physician's recommendations for treatment and begin to improve enough that your doctor allows you to come back to work light duty. All right, I'm back with the boys. This definitely helped my healing process, being included and treated like an actual sheriff's deputy. Of course, there was some restrictions, like limited bathroom breaks, limited storytelling, and snack breaks at 10 and 2. This allowed me some peace of mind and something to definitely look forward to daily. I continue the light duty in the rehabilitation, as well as meeting with your psychiatrist. It does shrink. The medication you prescribe for sleep makes you feel goofy in the head. And still doesn't give you the rest your body needs. You're worried the lack of sleep will further damage your body and mind. And now you have bills piling up and bill collectors calling you asking for payments due to the workman's comp denial. Then your physicians inform you, due to your PTSD and permanent physical limitations, they cannot allow you to return to work as a law enforcement officer. But I thought I did the right thing. Why am I being punished? One of the hardest things I ever had to do was tell Sheriff Finch that I can no longer be in law enforcement, and that I had to leave the department. I just can't see that anyway. For me, it was more of a mental letdown. Law enforcement was all I knew for years. And I felt like I was pretty damn good at it. Now what? Retirement? I wasn't sure what to do next, or what I could do next. I knew I had physical limitations that restricted me from doing a lot of jobs, and I was not even close to getting my mental health under control. I again relied on my attorney, coworkers, and Sheriff Finch on possible options. With their help and support from Burnett County, I received the best possible outcome for my situation. A lot of other agencies would not have went to bat for me or been as supportive. I worked for 7 of them, so I know. We are fortunate to work for a good county like Burnett. and to have supportive community that believes in their law enforcement, and to work for a great sheriff's department. I hope my story helps someone in this room to understand mental health is real, and it can affect you after or during your career in law enforcement. Some folks can handle trauma and stressful situations better than others. I thought I was Superman. But it affects everyone differently. I still haven't completely come to terms that I'm no longer in law enforcement and that my part of life is over. I still try to follow the department's social media. I occasionally make an unsupervised visit at the sheriff's department during potlucks. And I still rubberneck anytime I hear sirens. I had a member of the community ask me the other day if I missed being in law enforcement. Whew. Man, do I ever. I can't read now. I loved being a deputy sheriff. And I hope when others, or members of the community, hear the name Deputy Peterson, they say he was one of the good ones. I'm still healing mentally, as you can tell. And I know I will have physical limitations that I will have to deal with for the rest of my life. But if I could turn back time, would I do it all over again? Damn right I would. Love you guys. Thank you.